too week one. The Niners defense doesn't always come through, and it's an opportunistic game there for the Steelers. It's going to be a game about turnovers. I don't think that you should just simply say, oh, the Niners defense against Steelers offense, Kenny Pickett.
The Niners are going to destroy the Steelers in week one. I really believe that. Here's why. Nick Bosa is going up against Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones will be making his first NFL start. He's going to draw Nick Bosa week one. Najee Harris, love him, great guy, terrific kid, but I don't believe Najee is going to be.
I can't give you a football matchup reason on why Pittsburgh would win that game other than three things. One is TJ Watt, like individually how dominant he is, especially at home. Two is Mike Tomlin, home dog. Them there, they don't really lose at home. As a home dog, Mike Tomlin is 11-2 in his career, and they've been good his entire career. So who do you think he's been a home dog to? It's been Brady, Manning, those kind of guys, and they beat him at Heinz Field. And then three, it's how multiple the Steelers front is, dude. Like, there's just not enough practice reps for everybody to be on the same P's and Q's when it comes to protection, run assignments, stuff like that. And I feel like when you're talking about the Niners offense, which is so intricate, so detailed, and you're talking about a very multiple defenses give them problems early in the year. How many times have you seen the Niners say, oh, they didn't have the front we expected, or they ran that a little bit different, we weren't able to run the ball? They've said that at the beginning of the last 3 years, that it wasn't what they expected, all of that. It's going to give them problems. It gave Burrow a lot of problems last year. He threw five picks? And then the year before that, my man Josh Allen, who they were the Super Bowl favorites, the Buffalo Bills at home. Pittsburgh came in there with dink and dunk Ben Roethlisberger after Tommy John, and they beat him.
I like the Niners to destroy the Steelers in week one. Joey Porter is a rookie left corner. Levi Wallace is just a guy. Patrick Peterson is old as hell.
Very old.
The Niners have three weapons that will absolutely destroy them. And Pittsburgh won't be able to score points. You got to remember this: 49ers scored 33 a game.
I don't know how we could say this when we see year after year we say the same exact thing about the Niners in a beginning of a season game against a crappy team and they wet the bed. And we're going to say, oh, the Niners are going to come blow this team out. This team is crappy, all that. They lost to the fucking Bears last year, week one, who was the worst team in the NFL. They lost to Denver last year. That was an absolute mess. Like, come on.
I just really believe the matchups favor the Niners. I just told you why. I mean, I think the Niners secondary is much improved. I think the 49ers understand that they have to start fast this year. I think Bosa is going to absolutely crush Broderick Jones. I think the Niner weapons are going to get open all day against a rookie corner and two of the NFL's worst corners. And I think it's advantage 49ers.
What about the Bears? Week one last year, though, was it not advantage 49ers everywhere?
The 49ers fumbled in the red zone. They had the fourth quarter. They had no ability to come back because of the water on the field, and it became a passing game at the exact wrong time. They had two busted plays. I mean, let's be honest. Last year, the 49ers came out very undisciplined. They had two broken plays on defense. They had two or three really bad penalties that extended drives. And, they had the busted play to the UW kid who's, I don't think is special. I just think that because of last year, I think the Niners show up ready to roll week one. And, you're right. It's going to be a challenge for Trent Williams and for Colton McKivitz against Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. But the Steelers, I don't believe, have the kind of team that can come from behind. I think the Steelers have to play from ahead, and I don't think Najee is going to have success running it. I think I love Najee, but Najee is to me very disappointing. And Kenny Pickett is a young quarterback with a lot of pressure at home week one. I love the matchups with the Niner DBs on Allen Robinson, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. I think the 49ers get a lead, and that becomes a one-sided game. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the two keys then for the 49ers are going to be the two things they never do week one, which is win the penalty battle, win the turnover battle. And so
I think last year they were so not ready to play that this year, I mean, I think you heard it today from Juice.
They have not been ready to play week one under Kyle Shanahan pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
And they have
I
not
know.
been ready. I mean, we're talking about like even the Minnesota game, dude. Like people forget, like that Minnesota game came down to a 3rd and 5.
It's
And
a
even
different
with the
team this year. It's a whole different
but
mindset.
even with the Jimmy picks, like it's the problem is they're not very disciplined week 1, right? That's the point we're making, right? You go back to that Minnesota game, they had a 3rd and 5 at the end of the game where they could have gotten Minnesota off the field and they could have given Jimmy Garoppolo 2 minutes, the 2-minute warning and a timeout to go down the field and try and tie that game down 8. And Solomon Thomas on 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5, when all they were doing was not making him jump off sides. He jumps off sides. And they've had discipline issues, I would say, across the board when you talk about what they do week 1 and how they've played earlier in the season.
But sometimes you learn from. Sometimes teams learn from their mistakes. Also, you had very young Trey Lance on the road last time against a Bears team that plays really well at home. Niners actually, that was a low scoring game. They just had the Niners bring energy in week 1, but they haven't played very disciplined. But listening to Kyle Juszczyk today at the podium, where he's like, "Hey, look, we gotta be ready to roll week 1." And I think they're going to make a special focus on it. I also think the 49ers can win both ways. I think the Niners can win from the lead, and I think the Niners can win coming from behind. I don't think Pittsburgh can come from behind.
Look, we'll see. We'll have time to watch this game. We'll have time to see how it plays out.
I feel good about week 1.
I don't feel too great about it. But 44 Life Niner says Kyle would not trade Mac Jones because he's stuck in between a pig and a pickle. That's not a great joke, but I'll accept it. Green Glassful says Purdy making Grant Cohn see ghost facts. He wanted to put that in caps. Papa Phil says, what changes when we play Philly with Brock? I think he's asking like what's changing in the matchup.
I mean, that's week 13. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows who'll be healthy?
Who knows who's going to be healthy? Oh, by the way, I have one last point on why the Niners are not good earlier in the season. I think their camp is so physical that by the time they get to the season, they're always a little banged up. And it takes them some time when practices maybe lessen over the course of the season for them to kind of find their groove.
Well, they bring a lot of energy, but they don't bring a lot of focus on the details. This year, I think they're going to be much more focused on the details, partly because of how last year started, and also because they know that they have to really have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They got to play that NFC Championship game at Levi's, not Lincoln Financial.
I don't think they feel that. Really I feel like,
you're around the team. Said as much today.
Right, you're around the team, right? So you would know much better than me. But the reason I say is because I think this team does have a lot of confidence in their ability to go on the road because they did it in 2021. And I feel like they felt like they could have gone all the way on the road. And I feel like they felt like they could have gone into Philadelphia and won last year. And it's because stylistically, Krug, right, this is a team built to travel. What do they always say about road teams in the playoffs? Run the ball and play defense. That's what
Philly's a really hard place to play.
That's the bread and butter of the Niners, right?
I'm just saying. To me, it's a two-team conference, and it's either playing Philly or San Francisco.
I'm not saying that I don't think they're looking for the 1 seed. I'm just saying that I don't know if it's like the number one thought on their mind because I think they're very confident on their ability to go to Philly and win. I think they feel like they should have done it last year. Yeah. And I think they're confident in their ability to go on the road and win the playoffs.
But history says that the team that hosts that game.
Well, yeah, obviously, especially when you throw in the added attrition and the 17-game schedule and where the bye is and only one team getting the bye and all of that. It's a different animal now.
But not every road game's the same. Playing in Philly is a totally different deal than what they did the year before when they lost to the Rams.
Right.
The Rams, that's almost a home.
But they had to go into Green Bay, dude. That's one of the toughest places to play in January. Excuse me. I almost said February for whatever reason. Like I was thinking that game was in February for whatever reason. I was going to say February. It's January. Wish the 49ers played